Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the American League as well as the National League Championship Series are now locked in. Cleveland went ahead, defeated the Detroit Tigers by a score of 7-3. They move on and will now face the Yankees in the American League Championship Series, starting in the Bronx, Game 1 Monday night. And, of course, over in the National League, the Mets there were waiting to see who's going to duke it out between the Padres and the Dodgers. The Dodgers go ahead and advance now, so the Mets will now face the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. So we'll do a full breakdown, specifically we're going to look at the Yankees, of course, and off some more color on the kind of little dust-up there at second base between Volpe and Garcia from the other day. It looks like there's been more behind the story there, so I'll kind of get into that as well. But before we get started, we've got a whole series ahead of us, and hopefully the Yankees can advance, so a lot more baseball to go. You want to get takes after every game, instant reactions, and plus we're going to have the winter and off-season, and I'm sure free agency and trades and all crazy moves, sign Soto, don't sign Soto, all that. Make sure you're a podcast subscriber to get that. And, of course, go over to the YouTube channel, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, search it, find it, subscribe it. So, Yankees kind of obviously finished off the Royals the other day, and it was just a matter of who they're going to face. I was fine with either. Again, maybe a little preference towards Detroit just because they're a six-seeded team, but then again, watch out, those might be the more hungrier team. But nevertheless, Cleveland does finish them off in the final game there, so now the Yankees and Cleveland will lock horns again. Last time was just a couple of years ago in 2022. The Yankees taking it 5 games. Really should have been shorter than that. The Yankees let one go there. That was the game that Clark Schmidt came out to save because Holmes wasn't available. But nevertheless, the rosters are pretty close to the same, so you got these two same teams matched up there. I do like the Yankees' chances. Again, the Yankees overall had a great record against the entire American League Central this season, and specifically against the Cleveland Guardians this season. The Yankees in 6 games won 4 of the games, and it's worth noting there that one of the games the Yankees did lose, it was that Sunday game, so basically the Yankees took a lead, and for whatever reason, I guess Holmes, they didn't want to push Holmes for an extra inning, so Boone went with Ferguson to close it out, and unfortunately he got knocked around a little bit and blew the save and blew the game there. But that was the game the Yankees came back on Class A, took a lead, but because I guess they didn't want to overuse Holmes too much, already pitched in the game. He only threw like 10 or 11 pitches. I mean, he could have went an extra inning. Boone went with Ferguson instead, and he just got lit up, and the Yankees lost in extra innings, but that shouldn't have happened. So really, if you look at it, if you take the 6 games, the Yankees should have won 5 of those 6 games there. So Yankees clearly handled Cleveland very well, very comfortably this season, and if you just look in the past and recent history, obviously knocked them out in 2022, as well as, again, probably a different, other than Judge and maybe I think maybe the Judge, only Yankees still left around. Yankees also knocking out Cleveland in 2017 there. So just overall in recent years, it's been an organization that Yankees been able to handle quite well there. So I have no problem. It seems like the Yankees, are the favorite of the series. And if you look at the betting lines, I checked ESPN Bet. Has the Yankees at minus 160, and again, kind of did this a couple episodes ago. I'm not the betting gambling guru, but when a team has a negative number in front of that means they're the favorite. So the betting odds, the betting world right now, the money's on the Yankees to win this series, and you got to like the Yankees matchup. Obviously, since they're the number 1 seeded team and Cleveland's the number 2 seeded team, the Yankees have the home field advantage. So this is the full schedule you're looking at. Games 1 and 2 that kicks off Monday, so that's the 14th. And Tuesday the 15th in the Bronx. Now, they're not doing the spacing between the games as you saw in the divisional series, so Boone's going to have to manage differently now with the bullpen. You got to be a little careful now because you don't have that day off in between it as you had during the divisional series. So if games 1 and 2 there, boom. Then they have an off day on the 16th, and then they go for 3 games in a row in Cleveland, so it'll be the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Then you get another day off, and if necessary, come back to the Bronx. That'll be the 21st and 22nd. So that's your schedule there. Now over in the National League, you have the Mets and Dodgers going at it, kind of renewing their little post. They've duked it out in the postseason a couple of times. More recently was last time they went to the World Series. That was 2015. The Mets bounced the Dodgers out, and of course you look back to the classic 1988 playoff series, which I'm sure Met fans would care to forget. That was the big Mike Scioscia home run game there. So the Dodgers eliminating the Mets in there in '88. So they've gone locked horns a few times as well. The same with the Yankees. Yankees locked on to Cleveland, whether they're the Guardians or the Indians. You may look from the late 90s Yankees, the Tory Yankees in 1997. The Indians knocked the Yankees out, stopping their bid from repeating the 96 team there. And really, that was the one blemish. I don't know if the Yankees would have beaten the Marlins that season, but if the Yankees had, that would 5 championships in a row there because they had the 96, 97 they got eliminated, then you had the 3 championships after that, Again, hard to say what history would have happened there, but Cleveland did prevent the Yankees from, maybe putting something a little extra special together during that phase. But the Yankees got their revenge in '98, knocking Cleveland out of that year. So, and then starting their first of 3 championships in a row. So Cleveland and Yankees have gone at it a lot, and Mets and Dodgers have gone at it also in the postseason there. So getting back to the Yankees now. What are you looking about? Who's going to get the start in Game 1 there? Now, right now, it's up to debate. They could go with Rendon, who's going to be on extra rest. Now, we don't know if that's good or not, and maybe it wasn't good because we saw he was on extra rest for his start against the Royals, and again, by the 3rd, 4th inning, he was starting to fizzle out, lost control of the fastball, so it's something that the Yankees want to consider, whereas they could slot him with Clark Schmidt, who would be on normal rest, and maybe he could give you a better quality start than Rendon did, so that's up in the air. As for Cleveland right now, because the series went longer than they wanted to, they're not going to have their best available for Games 1 and 2, so for Game 1 right now, it's up in the air. It could be Alex Cobb or it could be Gavin Williams, so they're not sure yet with that. And Alex Cobb, you might remember him from his Tampa days. Kind of hit or miss, but mostly kind of tough on the Yankees. Throws a lot of splitters and sliders and two-seam fastballs and kind of just pretty much relies on that. And I don't remember him having too many bad games against the Yankees. Now, again, that was many years ago when he was at Tampa. Really haven't seen him enough to really see what type of pitcher he is now there. But overall, you would just look at the starters, look at the bullpen. I know they have Clase, but still, I would still give the Yankees the slight advantage there. And, of course, look at the lineup. They have Jose Ramirez. You have Naylor. We know those are the 2 villains there. But still, overall, you look at the Yankee lineup, you'd probably just the fact with Judge and Soto, and now this Stanton, if Stanton could keep up what he did in the divisional series there, if you have those 3 guys in the middle lineup, and you don't even get a good version of Judge, I'm assuming you're going to get a much better version of Judge this time around. I mean, he doesn't have to be, an all-world player and go crazy and hit 2 home runs a game, but, it's almost like he can't be any worse than what we saw against the Royals there. So, I like the Yankees lineup there. I give them the edge there. And overall, again, this is a series that the Yankees should close out. Do I want to put a game on it? I don't know. Maybe 6. Especially at home, the first 2 games there. And the fact that, Cleveland doesn't have their starting pitching set up the way they would probably want to ideally. I think the Yankees will have the advantage there, especially starting off the games there in New York. So those are your 2 matchups. Again, it's like the Yankees' chances. The betting lines are there. And if you just want to go off the regular season, the Yankees won 4 out of 6. And as I mentioned before, really it should be 5 out of 6. So could something change? Of course, it's always possible, but see a very good path, very good opportunity for the Yankees to get into the World Series. So that starts Monday night. Now, as mentioned before, that a little further backstory with this whole Garcia and Volpe. A dust up at second base there during the Game 4. It was a bang double play there. Birdie had the ball at first base, threw it towards Volpe, who had applied a tag, and he kind of applied a tag in one hand, and I think because Garcia was sliding in, he kind of a push and tag at the same time, and part of Volpe's forearm hit Garcia, and he stood up a little bit, and they were kind of okay, why? Short a little bit, but didn't seem too bothered about it. He started walking away a little bit, but then I guess Jazz took exception to it, and then that kind of got Garcia going. They were kind of barking it back and forth to each other. Then you saw some replays afterwards. He was kind of taking his glove go away, get out of here, get out of here. And Glaber, I guess maybe has a relationship with Garcia, was able to sort of walk him off. Now it seems like there's been a little bit more backstory to this, and there's a story in a post about that. Garcia posted on Twitter. It was a shot of after Game 2 when Rendon in the first inning. He was all pumping his fist after that first inning. He was cheering, stuff like that. And Garcia posted something like, "Don't celebrate too soon. We're not afraid of you," like that. And I guess maybe that was kind of the little thing going back and forth between the players and Garcia. And I guess that was a sort of a build-up moment. And then once it got physical, maybe it was up to there was something maybe talk about taking it to the next level. So it seems like there's been something brewing between Garcia and the Yankees, again, but maybe because of that tweet that's been going around. So that's kind of probably the underlying issue with that, why things blew up a little bit. And because we know Jazz lately, he has no problems getting himself mixed up in something like that. So that was probably, why it was more than just the Volpe tag, which kind of, got things sparked up a little bit where the benches had it clear there. So, but again, it turned out to be nothing. And even after the game, Boone kind of laughed it off and kind of said, yeah, go back to the late 70s rivalry when Hal McRae and Willie Randolph used to smash each other at second base. And even when they had George Brett on during one of the telecasts, Brett talking about his fight with Greg Nettles, and he was sliding there hard, and there was a big infamous brawl there with him and Greg Nettles duking it out a little bit. And again, Royals and Yankees, again, the late 70s, I think from 76 to 80, they faced each other 4 times. Yankees won 3 out of the 4. So again, that was a bit of a rivalry back in the day there a little bit, and it was way rougher than what we saw the other night there. So a little backstory to that one in case you didn't hear the story. So that's the episode. We'll see how it goes there. Again, like the Yankees' chances, it all starts Monday night, and then now hopefully they just got to do the work. Catch you next time.